today's video, I wanted to just talk about how I am doing using the items in my collection. If you are new to this series, I do have 2 previous videos. Last 6 is kind of more just to get ready with me, but the first one, which is my newest, like going through my eyeshadow collection, at least part 1, really just describes what I'm going to be doing, but just kind of give you the gist is I'm going one by one in my collection and I am just using it, creating a look. I'm doing an eyeshadow bingo, which I think really just helps to make it a bit more creative. That's what I did today, and we will be doing as well. I do already have the colors pulled and all of that, which I will show you in just a second. I thought that it would just be a good idea just to kind of talk through, and I'm hoping as we're going I can really get my thoughts wrapped around it as well. Like I kind of have my current idea, but I guess you never know what is going to come out as you are talking about the things. But let's go ahead and first just talk through what we will be using today. So today's is my first of Blend Bunny. So I have the Blend Bunny Ellis palette. This is a, whoa, holy cow, a huge palette if you have never seen this one before. And I was really interested to see what I would be pulling for the makeup bingo. One thing I don't think I discussed before that I have been doing a bit more with my makeup bingo is I will pull 5 shades. And then if there's one that I'm really just not happy with, or I feel like just doesn't fit with the color story, I will generally do another, like pull another shade and just see if there is something that I would like to swap it out with. If not, I did that today and it just didn't, the vibe just wasn't working. So I was like, you know what, let's be creative. Let's just see, mix it around and just see what we can create. And I did do the colors in my brows. I don't know if you can really see. You'll be able to see it more on my eye, but I think it really, really did work out. So let's go ahead and just talk through all the colors that I pulled for today. So up first is going to be Specimen, the super limey green. Next is going to be the shade here, which is kind of hard to see, but it's the shade Dainty. We also pulled for Ether. I'm trying to be careful and not dig my finger into some of these shades. So I think we're at 4. Yeah. Okay, this was the shade that I was a little nervous about, which is the shade Fragments, which as you can see is a gray. And I was like, how is that going to work? Because so far we're doing colorful. And then also was nervous because it's a lot of brighter shades. Luckily we did pull our last shade, which was Figment, which is this kind of, I would say, a mid-toned purple shade. We're going to use it as our deeper shade. So as I said, I was tempted to try to swap out Fragment, but the shade I pulled for, I believe, was the shade Ascendant. And I was just like, I don't think the vibe was going where I wanted to. I have it kind of swatched out here. No base or anything, so it doesn't look that great. Obviously, you can see by the eyebrows, and as we do it, it will look a lot better. If you're not familiar with Blend Bunny formula, they have like such a really good formula, so don't let my not great swatches deter you. I think we'll just go ahead and jump on in. So what my goal for this look is to be is I am just going to kind of lay all the shades down one by one. I kind of will darkest going lighter, and then I will usually blend around the edges as well. And then because we only pulled for 1 shimmer, the main reason why I want all the shades to be kind of laid down is so that hopefully, I guess I don't know what we'll see, but sometimes a shimmer, especially these ones, are a bit more, I mean, I guess it's like a translucent kind of shimmer, like a more translucent base to the shimmer, so that hopefully the sparkles will change within the shades. But again, who knows? I guess we will see. So we're going to start off with Figment. Figment. Ha ha ha. And I'm just going to take a pencil brush. So as we're kind of talking, I'm just going to be doing a very normal placement for me, which at least for the outer corner, I'm just going to take this shade along the bottom lash line, but I'm going to stop right where that color part of my eye starts and just wing it out. And then I'll just kind of mimic the same thing on the top. So into the importance of this video, how am I feeling doing this? I'm feeling so far really good. I am really enjoying it. I'm also noticing like certain shades, like I had that happen the other day when I used, I think it will be out already, but it's not out yet, but I used, well, I guess in real time, it will be out. What am I saying? I used this palette by Beauty Man Cosmetics. I believe it's Trick. And I was a little nervous about it because it is a 9-pan and it just has a bunch of random, did I say Blend Bunny? I meant Beauty Moon if I didn't say Beauty Moon Cosmetics Trick palette they came out with last year, I believe, for like Halloween. And it's just very like vibrant colors, like super gorgeous colors. But I was intimidated because I was like, what am I going to create with this? And I ended up pulling for a green shade in there, a light green shade, and holy cow, it packed a punch, and I was like, wow, I really want to use this shade in other looks. So I think that's something I'm enjoying. Is I'm not quite sure yet if I'll just eventually be like, oh, let's pick a shade from each palette. I kind of will, I guess, just wait and see. But I think that, I feel like it sounds, I hope it doesn't, but like to me, it sounds like if I heard this, I might be like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. It's actually pretty cool, really, just especially like if you're like myself, trying to stick to a budget with your allowance, which for myself, because I'm just really trying to get better with my finances, I am allowing myself $100 a month, which is a lot, but then it's also at times not a lot, especially with, let's say, a makeup palette can be over $50 lately. So unfortunately, that will eat up a lot of that, but also that money is going to include if I want anything like fun, extra for myself that's not even makeup. So it's definitely a challenge, but like a good challenge in a way, because I think it, especially with doing this series, really just helps you to use what you have in your collection. So I'm gonna dip in next with Fragments. I want it just to blend out the purple. Like, I want it to be there and pronounced, but I'm mainly using it to marry the two shades, like this shade, and then I'm going to do the kind of more, I believe it's like a blue shade together. Technically, purple and blue would mix well. But we have this added challenge of using this gray, and seems to be working so far. One of the palettes I'm really nervous about coming up, which I did talk about in my first video, is the Black Moon Cosmetics palette that I have. I'm blanking on what it is, but it's the one that kind of looks like a spaceship, or like the mirror does. I really just have never given that a lot of love, so that's something I am excited to give it love, but I'm nervous that the look is just gonna look like crap. It is the next palette that I'll be using, so I believe I'm using it tomorrow, and I'm just like, ugh, I really don't want to use it, but hey, it is a challenge, and you know, also, we'll be positive, you never know, like, what beautifulness I'm able to create. I'm gonna go in a little bit more with that Figment shade, just because I feel like it started to lose some of it along the edges with the gray. And then I'm gonna go ahead and dip into Aether. I think though I really have enjoyed just getting to know my palettes. One thing as well that I don't know if I talked about much the first time, but I am realizing slowly, is that I'm really kind of learning the palettes that I want to keep in my collection, or I might want to move out. And it's a lot of times it's no like hint or hit to the brand. I'm trying really to keep stuff in my collection that I'm going to use. It's always a struggle because I do have what I consider my archives, but what's also hard is I will have a lot of times palettes, like the one that's on my mind right now, it's a Beauty Creations palette, and the palette itself is gorgeous. It's kind of like a Valentine's Eve palette, but for my short, which if you don't know, I'm doing a lot of shorts with the palettes, I ended up having to pull in other shimmers, or I think one other shimmer, just because the palette itself is a lot of pressed glitters, and I didn't like that. It's a struggle because I do think the mattes in there are really nice, so thus I want to keep it in my collection, but I worry that I just won't use it. Hopefully with, I guess, you know, as I'm thinking about it, as I'm saying it, with doing projects like I am doing right now, and I hope to find more to do in the future. Like, I don't want to just continuously do the same thing over and over again, which obviously you can do, don't get me wrong, but especially for one, like, I have to keep in my mind as a person who is trying to create content, I still want to, you know, do something that people find interesting, because I do think that sometimes the idea of using our makeup is a good, I think, interesting thing that people want to hear about, but I think people can quickly be like, okay, I'm kind of getting, like, you want it to feel new and exciting something, which I completely get, because as a consumer, I think a lot of us, who have a lot of makeup, or just have a lot in general, it makes sense. We want things to feel exciting, fresh, and that's where I'm hoping that by doing different projects, my makeup will continuously feel fresh. And then also, it really can help me, I guess, in that deciding of if I come around to a palette again and I'm just like, I just hate this palette. I hate it so much. I just don't want to use it. Then I can kind of make that decision and pull it out of my collection. Okay, real quick. Fragments, which is the gray, not loving her. She's existing, obviously. But I feel like she's probably, as I had said before, she really is just kind of like a mixing shade, because these just are not, I think on the lid, it's just not looking great. So I'm just going to kind of really work with it a bit. I did add a little bit more of that purple to just really help it to blend. It looks better, I think, on the brow, but it's just because it's a shade that really doesn't mix well, I don't think, with colorful makeup. It's feeling like a bit of a struggle, but I think we're getting there. Just took a second to get us caught up on the other side. We're next going to be going in with Specimen. So going back in with what I was saying though, I think the biggest thing that I'm really enjoying about this project is that I have not felt an urge at all to get a new eyeshadow palette. I really think it's because I am going one palette at a time, which is really giving me the opportunity to revisit some beauties in my collection that I've kind of just left on the shelf. I really like that because I think it feels great, for one, to be using my collection. I feel better that I'm actually using the stuff that I have, and it really just feels at times new, especially a lot of the stuff that I just haven't played with in a while. It really just kind of in a way feels new. Like sometimes I know what to expect, but then also if I use shades that I haven't used before, or even biggest thing with this product that I'm doing, using them in a way that I have not used them before is amazing. And I think one thing I will say, like with a palette like this, is I already want to do multiple kind of palette bingos with this palette, just because for one, there's so many shades and shades that I just have never really used. But also like with a palette like this, I'm so used to wanting to take the same shades like in a row, but then I don't create something like this, which I've definitely seen this color story before. Obviously it's just lucky that it kind of worked out, but it's fun. And I've not created a look like this in a while. I think it just, I don't know, the artist part of me, or the creative part of me, is just really enjoying this, honestly, journey. Maybe that's honestly what it is. It's kind of like a journey, and then also as a person who likes to have a project that I can just kind of really just sink into, I love that. I love that I'm kind of just dedicating time to this project versus having to feel like I have to come up with something every single day. It's like, no, I have my project that I'm working on, and I'm able to do what I'm doing, which is really just taking the time with it, taking the time to get to know my makeup more, taking the time to realize that I don't know if I want this lime green shade all around the eye. I think I just want it in the inner part. I might like just stick with what I have done here a bit and maybe try to like overdo it with the other shade. I like it. I think it really just needs to be in the inner part. And now it's going with our last shade, which is Dainty right here. I'm just gonna be really curious to see what this will look like. I'm not using any primer. The main reason is I feel like it can not destroy, but like mess with seeing the color underneath. I feel like a lot of times the bases will kind of just erase the color. I feel like we're getting a lot of blue. I don't know if it's doing anything to the green, but I mean, it works so freaking perfectly with this palette. Or with this look. And here is the finished look. Honestly, I really, really do like it. I am so happy that I am doing this series. It really is a lot of fun. Please let me know down below what you do think. Give me a like if you do enjoy this, and follow if you would like to see more content like this. I hope you're having a great rest of your day, and I will see you on my next one. Okay, bye!